New colors, new name, and a legacy of winning. It's the Montgomery College Raptors, and this is the Raptor Report. Coming up, we've got a recap of the exciting fall sports season at Montgomery College. We'll take a look back at Coach Amir Mafinejad's women's volleyball team. Sophomore Dijana Cobbs led the Raptors to another winning season. After last year's national championship, the women's soccer team faced a rebuilding year under new coach Brad Harden. But the future is again looking bright after another strong season. The Raptors men's soccer team's season was a season of firsts, including a first-ever national championship appearance. We'll have Coach Pedro Braz live in studio to talk about the Raptors' historic run. We'll also take a sneak peek at the women's basketball team. What can they do for an encore after last year's stellar season? And then we get to meet the man who puts MC's athletic program together and keeps it humming. All of this and more on this edition of the Raptor Report, starting now. Hi everybody, I'm Michael Brown and welcome to the Raptor Report, a brand new show that'll keep you in the loop on everything going on with Montgomery College sports. And believe me, there's been a whole lot going on. It's a whole new ballgame for MC Sports. The college has unified all three campuses under one set of new colors, one new mascot, a whole new attitude. It's a big-time change, and in just a few minutes, we'll be talking with MC's new athletic director all about it. But as we turn the page to a new era in athletics at MC, we need to honor and remember the past. The college has a rich athletic history, 55 years of football, including numerous bowl appearances, national championships in tennis, golf, and most recently, women's soccer, junior college World Series appearances, All-Americans and all-conference stars in every sport and from every campus, and legendary coaches like Phil Martin, Tom Bickey, and countless others. The Knights, Griffins, and Falcons may have been replaced by the Raptors and the new colors, but their place in Montgomery College sports history is indelible and will always be revered. So with a new set of colors and a new nickname in tow, MC's volleyball, women's soccer, and men's soccer teams hit the court and the fields this fall. And the new MC athletic era got off to a great start. In volleyball, head coach Amir Mafinejad has built a powerhouse program during his 5 seasons at MC. When he took over, the program was in the doldrums, but he's completely turned it around. 2 years ago, they went to the Nationals, and now they're considered one of the top programs in Maryland JUCO. And this season was no letdown, as they posted a 3rd-place finish in Maryland JUCO with a 15-5 record. They were led by Dijana Cobbs, perhaps the most exciting player in the state. Her kills, blocks, court awareness, and enthusiasm for the game propelled her team all season long. Oftentimes, she was a one-person highlight reel with her devastating kills, blocking ability, and athleticism. But she had plenty of help from sophomore Susana Munoz and Kelly Stock, who played solid roles all season long. And the future looks bright with freshmen Melody Young, Emily Scott, and Yesenia Mora. Young is an up-and-coming libero. Scott can kill the ball from the wing with authority, and Coach Mafinejad feels Mora has the potential to be another Dijana Cobbs. Enough said. Women's soccer under first-year head coach Brad Harden had a tough act to follow after last year's team won the national championship. Harden took over for Kelly Wakeman, who left to take the head coaching job at Ursinus, a 4-year school in Pennsylvania. And he got a late start and had very little time to recruit. But neither Harden nor his team was looking to make excuses. They played hard, played through a crazy rash of injuries to key players, and turned in a very solid season. They finished 9-8-1, and highlights included an early season win over Nassau, a 3-1 win over Anne Arundel, who ended up eventually representing the region at the Nationals, and a win over Howard in the first round of the Region 20 tournament. Rachel Anderson scored 10 goals and had 4 assists, and Hiba El Kabli had 6 goals and 7 assists as both made first team All-Maryland JUCO. Defender Tracy Velasquez made second team. And goalkeeper Ashley Latter registered 6 shutouts and was 4th in Maryland JUCO in save percentage. And what about first-year coach Pedro Braz's men's soccer team? Can you say nationals? Pedro led the Raptors to their first national championship game appearance. We'll have him in studio live in just a little bit with more on the Raptors' historic season. Now, as the fall went along, we saw some exceptional performances by MC athletes. And watching them compete got me thinking how quickly their career at MC comes and goes. Before you know it, they're off to a 4-year school, many of them with scholarships. So before they move on, I asked the graduating sophomores what they'll miss most about playing sports at MC.
The people, the freshmen, my fellow sophomores, we're all kind of separating, and I'm gonna miss the people I met here.
Playing, I've played since I was 9 years old, so just giving it up is gonna be pretty difficult because I know once I graduate I'm not gonna play anymore.
It's Coach Pedro.
Oh, I miss the most. Probably just the people who are on the team. I'm gonna miss the bonds and the relationship that we really have because we work really well together.
The atmosphere and just how small it is and how, like I said before, everyone cares about you.
Just being so close with everybody, because I don't think I'm playing soccer at the next school I go to, so it'd be cool to be part of a team and winning something, so it'd be cool.
Playing with my best friend Dee and the coaches.
The team, because we have a team spirit. We play for each other and we like a family, one family.
Just having the close relationships with the coaches and the staff and the players. That's what I'm going to miss the most.
So we've been talking all show long about the new one college unified approach at MC, and who better explain it to us than Derek Carter, the brand new interim athletic director here at the college. Welcome to the Raptor Report, Derek.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Well, Derek, let's get right to it. In a nutshell, what's the new model for athletics at MC, and what exactly does it mean when we talk about a unified one college approach to athletics?
What a unified one college approach means is that instead of the athletic programs being spread out to 3 campuses, in line with the priorities of the president, we are going to be one college, and the key word is that we are unified. We'll be unified as all of our teams can be under one umbrella. Administratively, we're unified. There are a lot of reports and things that have to be done for the college, and everything can be under one umbrella.
What do you think some of the benefits are of going to this approach? How do you think this is going to help the college and the athletic program?
Well, first of all, I believe pride. Montgomery College as one college, as the Raptors. Over time, there should be an increased level of pride. The teams will be able to not compete against each other under the Montgomery College umbrella, but root for each other under the Montgomery College umbrella. And over time, I believe you'll see the students really believe in the one college, and the athletes can support each other, and just overall, it will be a positive thing.
And I think another benefit is that in the past, if you took your classes at Tacoma, you couldn't play, say, for example, women's basketball here on the Rockville campus. That's been eliminated now.
Absolutely, it's been eliminated. And just to tack on to what you said, you can take classes at any campus and still participate. So it's going to eliminate some hassles that people have had in the past, and just overall, it's going to be a positive.
And I think one other real strong point here is that with just one men's basketball team, one women's basketball team, we're going to get the cream of the crop, and hopefully we'll be even more competitive.
The talent levels should increase, absolutely. And our goal is to advance to postseason competition and ultimately national competition. So we're going to have our best athletes competing in each sport.
Okay, so the new unified model's in place, just explained to us by Derek Carter, and it seems like most people like it. But what about the athletes? What do they think? I went out and I sampled their opinion because who better to ask than the ones who wear the new nickname and colors every day.
I actually like it. You know, it's a lot less confusing than just having, oh, Knights, Falcons, and the Griffins, but I feel like it's more organized this way, and like we really feel unified rather than just 3 separate campuses.
I do. I think it's new. It's something new. New coach, new team. I like it. It's fresh. It's new. It's cool.
Actually, I think it's a great idea. Like now we're showing that Raptor is one team that can go far.
I think it's better this way because everybody's together. It's more diverse. There's people from every campus here now, and actually we get more fans this way too.
I think that's a better way. You know, combining everything, you know, in one, and then we're gonna represent, you know, one school as Montgomery College.
I miss being a Knight. I do, but it's good. It gives more opportunities to others and other campuses.
We're one college, not 3 colleges, so it's a change for the better.
I think it's really good actually because we are one college. Even though we have separate campuses, we are one college, so I think it's good that we're unified and in one team.
I like it. Love it, actually.
I think it's good. I think, you know, we needed to unite. We needed a little bit of change. I mean, we also got new coaches, new players, you know, and a new title, so change is sometimes good.
So Derek, let's continue with our theme of what's new at MC. The college also added a couple of new coaches this fall for women's soccer and also for men's soccer. Let's start with women's soccer and Brad Harton. Now, it's an understatement to say he had a tough act to follow. What do you think made him the right guy for this moment?
Well, first of all, you're right. He had a tough act to follow. But Brad was the proper hire because he was really clued in soccer in the state of Maryland. That's where his experience is. So when you're talking about someone to be able to continue a successful program, to be able to recruit the right students to compete at the college, to be able to bring his philosophy but not ignore the previous philosophy, he's done a good job of doing all those things. Again, he came in late. But we had success, and I really believe because of his concepts of recruiting and recruiting the right students who was focused on academics that we will continue the success for women's soccer.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. Brad seems very focused to me. He was chagrined that he couldn't defend the national championship. I mean, that's the kind of competitor he is.
Well, he's very, very competitive.
Yeah.
You see that in every conversation. That he's extremely competitive, and that's what you want because he's not just competitive on the field. He's competitive for his students' academics, and he has the right frame of mind to get us to the right direction.
And we spoke to all the soccer players as part of work in preparing for this show, and the reviews on him as a head coach seem to be very, very positive by the players.
Absolutely. And like I said, he's going to bring his own philosophy. He's going to be a little different than previous programs. And that's what you want. You know, when you make change, you want him to come in with his values, with his beliefs, but they're still in sync with the college.
Now let's move to Pedro Braz. He took over the men's program, and he took it over just before the season started, too. He's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes, so let's just have a little chat behind his back about him. Tell us a little bit about Pedro's background and what he brings to the table as a head coach.
Okay. Pedro competed at the Division I level as a student athlete, so that gives him a lot of experience of just knowing life as a student athlete. He was fortunate enough to compete internationally for a few years in Europe. So he's seen a lot of soccer. He's seen a lot of soccer at a variety of levels. So he came to Montgomery, came late, but he came with a plan. And he came with a plan that he was determined to take the players that he had based on the knowledge that he brought to the table, that he could make that group collectively work to achieve the goals that he set. And again, Pedro did the same thing. His goals were academic as well as athletic. And he just hit a home run, if you will, in both categories.
Real quickly, what is it about him that enables him to make such a strong connection so quickly with his team?
I think his experiences as just being around the game at so many levels, and they respect what he says because he knows what he's talking about, and he just has a way of communicating with his players that, you know, and the good coaches can do that. You know, he's not their friend all the time, but they respect him, and they believe in the things that he's telling them to do.
Well, Derek, we really appreciate you coming in and being on the first edition of the Raptor Report.
It's a pleasure.
We appreciate your insights and especially for helping us understand the One College Unified approach.
Well, thank you, and we're going to make it work.
That's for sure. And stick with us because we'll be right back with an interview with Pedro Braz, the head coach of the men's soccer team. You are not going to want to miss it.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
The men's soccer program just finished a historic season that few would have predicted given how it began. Just a couple of weeks prior to the start of the season, Pedro Braz was hired as head coach. He had no time to recruit and very little time to prepare. But he hit the ground running and put together a quality team in a short period of time. As expected, the team struggled during the first few games. But beginning on September the 10th, when they beat Northern Virginia Community College, they won 11 of their last 13 and came roaring into the regional championships. The roll continued when they wiped out Nova 8-0 in the first round, blanked arch-rival Howard 4-0 in the second round, and edged Potomac State 1-0 to win the Region 20 crown. 3 rounds, 3 shutouts. That set up a trip to the national tournament, the first time an MC men's soccer team had advanced to the nationals since the late 1980s. And as we continue with the story this season and the team advances to the nationals, we want to welcome in head coach Pedro Braz, because there's nobody better suited to finishing the amazing story of this Raptors team. Thanks for joining us, Pedro.
Oh, no, Mike, thank you. First and foremost, just want to thank you for your well job done with your staff here. You guys been doing it for a while. So it's my pleasure to be in here and to be sitting next to you and being interviewed. So thank you, Mike.
Well, it's great to have you here on the first Raptor Report. All right, what was the feeling like knowing that your MC men's soccer team was the first MC men's team to advance to the national championship since 1988?
To be honest, there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure. Knowing that, and then just representing, like you said, since '88, so representing the alums in between that came before us. So representing them, making them proud, meant a lot to me, meant a lot to the coaching staff, and meant a lot to these players. So that's what we try to represent, the MC and then the MC community. So hopefully they are proud of us.
All right, now let's go to the Nationals. In the opener, you knocked off Ocean 5-1. Now, who led the way in that game?
To be honest with you, it wasn't any players or any coaches. It was the weather. Number one, I got to tip my hats off to Ocean because they got hit pretty hard with Hurricane Sandy, and for them to be there and still compete at that high level, it's just a phenomenal. And again, all the prayers and support to the family in the New Jersey area. But Ocean came out strong. They scored in the first 23 seconds. So. Granted, the weather had an impact again because it was 20 degrees. My team and MC, we wasn't used to 20-degree weather. So they scored and we went to halftime 1-0. We got a little warm. Then we went inside actually at halftime, put our jackets on, got a little warm, regrouped, and then the men, I call them the men now because when we first started, they were boys and we kind of trying to figure each other out, but they became men. And that second half, we came out and we did what we had to do. And again, it was a team collective victory. It was 5 different scorers. and we combined it and connected at the right time.
All right, second round, Suffolk. Little tougher game. Came out on top 3-2. How'd you pull that one out?
That one was tougher. Suffolk was number 3 in the country at that time, and it was well deserved for them to be ranked that high. They were a good team. They were very organized in the back. That game was more tactics. We had to break down their games in their style so that we could compete at that high level. We were not as ranked as high, so we were the underdogs there. If I had to isolate any player at that time, was Samir, the sophomore, the forward. To be honest with you, in preseason, he was on the bubble. He was in the bubble of making the team or not, not because of his athletic ability, but just his attitude from the beginning. So I remember pulling him out and telling him, you're very close to not making this team, or you're very close to making it. So it's really going to come down to you. And to be honest, if I had a player of the tournament, would be him. He changed his attitude, he changed his way, and he became the person that we needed him to be.
All right, let's go to the finals now. The first time in MC men's soccer history that the school has made the national finals. Take us there. What was happening? What was it like? What did it feel like?
It was an experience that I'll always remember for the rest of my life. And that's what I told these student athletes. I told them, regardless, I will be coaching for the rest of my life. But for them, it really came down to them, because this experience may never happen to them ever again. So, and I remember we sat down, we had a team meeting before that game, and there was a lot of emotions running, and people we would kind of sit down and let everyone talk. And one story that I can isolate, which he might not like, but it's one of my assistant coaches, Alvaro Neto. He came here and he was a player here, so he knew how much that meant to him and his family in this community. And I remember when we beat Suffolk 3-2, he steps out and he calls his mother, and yes, tears were coming down. And again, this is a man now that been here, that was a player that didn't make it to that national tournament. So there was a lot of emotions. It felt good. It felt right. And granted, we were cut short at the end there in double overtime, and they scored the last 4 minutes. But overall, I thought the team did well. They were kind of together. We peaked at the right time, and that's what's more important.
Well, that was a tough loss. Double overtime, 1-0. Bitter pill. I'm sure you're hurting. The players are still hurting. But look at what you guys accomplished this year. Maryland JUCO champions for the first time in school history, Region 20 champions, second in the country, and several players made All-Maryland JUCO: Kevin Andino, Serene Babagay, Mohamed Olari, and Emmanuel Sama. You had 3 make the All-Tournament team, the All-National Tournament team: Kevin Andino, Samir Diarra, and Brandon McCoy. And then you just told me before we went on air that Kevin made first team All-American, Kevin Andino. And you're Maryland JUCO Coach of the Year. I mean, what a season and what a foundation for the future.
And that's what we try to leave. It's that foundation. It's getting something started, planting the seeds, so then we can make something grow. And that's from the beginning. I told these guys, and I told them from the beginning, we have to leave this legacy. We have to leave something here that people can remember you for the rest of their lives. And if it's, and be honest, and my main objective was, when you first interviewed me, it was the academic side. And obviously the grades hasn't come out yet, but that's what we're here for, and especially junior college. We're here to further their academic career, and if they do well on the field, then fair enough, and that's a bonus. So again, all those awards and that coaching staff of the year stuff, to be honest with you, without my coaching staff, I would not receive that coach of the year. They just did a phenomenal job, and if I could add them, it's Javad Shore, Trey Livingston, and Alvaro Neto. Without them, there's no coach of the year, there's no region champs, there's none of that. So I got to tip my hat off to these men that did a really, really great job.
Well, terrific season, Pedro, and thanks again so much for joining us on the very first Raptor Report, and congratulations again on a historic season. We've got to take a quick break, but stick around. Coming up next, we'll preview the women's basketball season. How will Coach Tarla Gasquet's team fare in Maryland JUCO this year? We'll have the answers to that and more. You're watching the Raptor Report. We'll be right back.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
When the weather turns colder, it's time to move inside to the basketball court. The MC women's basketball team season is just getting underway. Last year, this team finished 4th in the country, won the Region 20 and District Crowns, and compiled a record of 28-6. And with the way they've started this season, it looks like they're hungry for more. Head coach Tarla Gasquet's team lost several key players from last year's squad, including All-American Alex Silva. But when you have the kind of success her program has enjoyed the last few years, it makes recruiting a little easier. So alongside returners Capria Redparth, Jamila Thali, Jartu Towe, and Jocelyn Martin, Gasquet and top assistant Melissa Weithman have added several outstanding freshmen. Daisha Noren is a three-point sharpshooter and shutdown defender. Megan Tillman is a smooth, versatile, inside-out threat. And Angelica Saccone is a solid defender and rebounder with scoring potential. The team has opened the season with 4 impressive wins, including knocking off Monroe, the preseason #1 team in the NJCAA Division II rankings, 65-59. And they're off to a 4-0 start while missing 4 key players, including all 3 of their post players. When those 4 return from injury, this team will really be a force to be reckoned with, which translates into lofty team goals and expectations.
I expect us to go to the national tournament again. I hope we do that, but I really have a good feeling that we will be, just based on the strength of the team that I see this year.
Coach James Bryson's MC men's basketball team has also just kicked off their season. They're off to a 2-2 start. We'll have highlights, interviews, and much more about them on our next show. Well, that's about it for the premiere episode of the Raptor Report. Follow us at twitter.com/MCTV10 and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Montgomery College TV. For episodes of the Raptor Report and archived MCTV sports broadcasts, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Montgomery College. Lots of ways to find out about upcoming games, watch past games, or keep in touch with the latest MC sports news. And one last important note before we say goodbye. The majority of the great footage that you've been enjoying during this show of MC athletes in action was shot by a Montgomery College student, Paul Steinitz. Paul is interning at MCTV and is learning a ton about camera work. He's a big reason the Raptor Report is on MCTV. So, a huge tip of the cap to Paul. Well, that's it for the first episode of the Raptor Report. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody.